In this video, we're going to be looking at editing with the new Gutenberg editor in WordPress. Now, if you've been using WordPress for a long time, you will maybe recognize the old classic editor that looked a little bit like this. And it worked okay. It was pretty easy to kind of drop down and choose different options. But there were some limitations with that. So in a more recent release of WordPress, it comes standard with the new Gutenberg editor, which makes it a little bit easier to create more creative posts. So what I'll do now, we could build with a brand new post, but let's go ahead and use one that I've made earlier just to demonstrate how the editor might work. I've just basically copied and pasted some dummy text here and popped in a few headings so we can have a play with this one. Now, the Gutenberg editor is a block-based editor. That means everything that you put in is kind of recognized as a block in WordPress. So this heading here is one block, and each new paragraph is a new block. The benefit of this is that it's really easy to move things around. Say I wanted to switch these two paragraphs, I might take this one and just move it up. Likewise, if I think this one really belongs in that section, rather than having to copy and paste, I could just move it up until it's in the right section. Makes it really easy to grab things and move them around where you might want them. Instead of clicking the up or down arrows, say something's far away, I can maybe just hover over it until I see the little hand, and then drag that down to where I would like it to go, look for that blue bar, and then let it go, and it goes right to that location. So with Gutenberg blocks, the standard ones are text blocks and headings, but you can really do all kinds of interesting content using the block-based system. So anytime I want to add a new block, I could add one to the end of my document by clicking this button here in the top left and click Add Block, and we could do anything. If I wanted a new heading or a new paragraph, I might pick one of these. And that put that block where the blinking cursor was. You can also delete blocks here. Well, in each block, first of all, you get lots of options here at the top in the contextual menu. So because I made a heading block, I have the option to change what kind of heading that is in the document, and maybe change the text around a little bit too. I don't really need that one, so I'll click on the three dots, which brings up a menu for each block, and I'll click to remove that block. Now, let's say I wanted to have some kind of image to demonstrate what's going on. So I will choose where I wanted that image to go. Let's say I might want it between this paragraph and the next heading. So I'll just hover here until a blue plus appears, and I can click on that one, and I get the option to add a new block. I'll go through the common blocks. So on your site, the top option is for the most used blocks, the blocks that come up for you the most. Then there's common blocks. This is the same what everybody will see there. And there's blocks for formatting, for laying things out, different widgets in WordPress, and ways to embed things on your site. So we'll look at some of these. So I'll go ahead and go to these common blocks, and I'll select an image. Again, you can upload something from your computer, or if you've already uploaded something to WordPress, it'll be in your media library. So we've got a post about virtual reality here, so I'll click this image here. And it's always a good idea for accessibility to type in some alt text to describe what's going on in the image. That way people with screen readers will be able to see what's going on in the image too. And there it is. We've got an image that we've just put into our article. If we wanted to preview what we're doing at any time, we can click Preview, and WordPress will generate a new tab with a preview in it, so we can see what that's looking like, how people will see it when they come onto our website. With this image, I could also make some edits to it after I put it in. So at the moment, it's just in the middle of our article. If we wanted to align it to the right, we could align it to the right, maybe resize it a bit, and that will let text flow around the image. We could put a caption if we wanted to. We could align it to the other side of the page, all sorts of things. And just like before, we can move this up or down within our page. Also have some other options for just popping that back into the center. And that is images with Gutenberg. But let's keep going because there's all kinds of things that you can add. Let's say again that these two ideas were quite related. Maybe I wanted them to appear side by side, so I can add a new block here. And let's go down to layout elements and columns. And maybe I'd like these two to be in that area, so I can grab this block here and drag it into that column that I've made there. And this earlier one, I can grab it again and drag it into this column here. This makes WordPress really powerful because there's sort of a drag and drop functionality to it. If you've got an empty block that you don't need, once your cursor's in there, you can just hit the backspace and that block will go away. So we'll keep going. We'll try some more things. Let's say at the end of this block, a kind of bullet point list would be useful. So I'll click to add a block. We'll find a list, and we can just add a few things in here. And let's say we'd like to make this list, it's too close together to that paragraph, and we'd like a little bit more room. Well, we can do that too. We can click the Add Block button and look at formatting. Oh, it's not formatting, it's a layout block. We'll put in a spacer, and we can adjust the height of that spacer just by clicking on that blue button just there, making it about that high. And with any block, if we click on the 3 dots for more options, we can also duplicate a block. So after we duplicate that block, I might move it down, and there we can see we've given a lot of space around this particular item. So we'll try some other things. Let's say this item right here was actually a quote that we might want to highlight. I'll go ahead and cut that there, and instead add a new block. And again, we've got our most used options. Let's go for common blocks, and we'll add this in as a quote. So I could just paste it in there and assign it to somebody. We'll say that I said this one. And so we have a kind of pull quote there, or a block quote, so that can stand out a little bit there in our article. So let's say I had this like it was now, but I thought maybe we could really do with an image just down here, maybe a full width image, so it looked really dramatic. So I can add a block here, select image. We'll choose another one from our media library, maybe this gentleman enjoying a VR headset there. And we want to make this more prominent, and that's okay. So I can click on this option here to make this a full width image. I'll take across all of the space on the site. We can have a quick look at that and see how that's looking in our article. So you kind of scroll down and you can see that's really standing out there now. So all kinds of interesting things you can do with media and content. Let's just say that there's a really good YouTube video that I think would be great to link to in our post. I'm at the bottom, so I can click to add a new block. And you can see I've got a YouTube block there, and in my most used category. For you, that will be in embeds if you've never used that before, and you can click on YouTube. And then all you have to do is find a URL of a YouTube video that you like. So I'll just use this one, which was about our Remix Play event at the Disruptive Media Learning Lab. And I will paste it in there. Click Embed. And just like that, that's embedded that video, so people can see that on your site. And click to play and interact with that one. So we can do some interesting things with Twitter. Let's say I wanted to embed a tweet here that maybe I spoke about this topic before and want to put my Twitter account details in there. We could do embeds and click on Twitter, which will just give us a Twitter profile. But the other thing we can do with that is instead go to an actual tweet that we like. So here's one for an announcement for an event that we're doing. Click Embed Tweet. This gives us a link that we can copy. So I'll go ahead and copy that one. And we'll come back to our post that we're making. And instead of an embed tweet, the way that we use that one will be in formatting, and we'll put in some HTML, and then I can just paste that there. And we'll preview that. And you can see that there's my tweet live in my post that people can see and follow my Twitter account that way. So all kinds of things you could do with Gutenberg. There's something else, maybe you just wanted to emphasize another bit of something that you wrote, but it's not exactly a quote. You could take this block, for example, and come over here on the right to the settings for this particular block. And maybe we could change the color. So we could change the background color to any color we like. I'll go ahead and go with this blue here. And we can see that the text has gone white as well, and that really stands out a lot too. So there's a lot to play with and a lot to explore with Gutenberg editor. So there's all kinds of things. You would get way more features than we had in this classic editor that was previously used in WordPress that gives us the chance to use lots of rich media and lots of things to get people to engage with our work and use a lot of good content. And that is editing with the Gutenberg editor in WordPress.